Hello everybody and welcome back to Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. In the last episode, someone decided to go for that buy one get one free and Hiyoko and Ibuki were basically dead. We investigated their murder scenes and I think actually that I know the sequence of events in which things happened for the most part. I just don't really have a murder suspect yet, which is weird because I did in the last two murder cases, sort of. But in this one, I just have no idea. There are several people that weren't with Hajime by the time the murder was supposed to be committed, so this is just gonna be kind of a shit show probably. Let's just get right into it. Is roided up Monokuma gonna show up again? Everyone who heard the announcement had gathered in the front of Monokuma Rock, and soon enough...
Welcome!
Is everyone here? Do you guys want to go to class trial?
Wait!
Hey jerk, hold it right there.
Monami's such a dumb child.
Monami's such a dumb child. What? Don't get in my way. You're just a dumb little sister who's short a few brain cells.
Hey!
My brain works just fine.
Hey, hey!
Monokuma, what did you do with Nekomaru? I see, so you've come to avenge him. Avenge? That sounds like he died. Sounds like you say. Oops.
Anyway...
Since Nekomaru's unfortunately unavailable today, let's just say he's absent.
Bye-bye!
Now then, I gotta go first.
I won't let you.
Hold on, I won't let you escape.
Hey!
Did you hear what he said?
Huh?
Don't worry about it. There's no way Nekomaru's dead. He's just trying to piss us off.
Damn it!
Of course he's not dead. There's no way, not in a million years.
Well...
More importantly, it's best if we worry about ourselves for now. If something happens here, every one of us except Nekomaru will die. Why are you so excited about that?
How about it?
Who knows? Maybe I'm looking forward to seeing poetic justice prevail.
What do you yearn for?
What are you saying, fiend? You'll find out soon enough.
See?
Then let's go.
I'm gonna do it!
All right, let's hurry up and get this over with. Yeah, you're right. We stepped onto the escalator and ascended towards the gaping maw of Monokuma Rock, and that's when I suddenly noticed it. I noticed our lined up silhouettes keep getting smaller and smaller. But I can't turn back now. If I turn back, I won't be able to press forward. And when everyone was inside Monokuma Rock, elevator time, baby. Can we not do a 20 bajillion time section of the elevator going down and us saying despair, despair, hope, despair? The elevator began its steep descent as usual, but nobody said a word. As we stood there trying to figure out what to say to each other, the elevator descended deeper and deeper into despair. And when it descended as far as it could go, it finally stopped. Okay, no despair this time. The elevator doors opened slowly, almost tantalizingly so. Light poured through from the other side, eroding the boundaries of the darkness. And when I walked into that place... My, it feels pretty toothless with all these empty seats. Well, two people got killed at the same time and Nekomaru's not here either.
Hey, hey!
Is Nekomaru really not participating? If he's alive, you should invite him.
No!
Why bother?
That's...
What?
Well now.
Now then, let's begin.
Yahoo!
It's the beginning of the long-awaited class trial. Please enjoy it to your heart's content. Oh boy, here we go. This is gonna be a doozy. And so the curtain to the third class trial was about to open. Ibuki Miura, the ultimate musician. She was really loud, but she was the mood maker of our group. When I was with her, all of my pain and suffering just seemed to melt away. Honestly, she seemed kind of annoying, to be honest, but whatever, Hajime. Hiyoko Saionji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Just from looking at her adorable face, you'd never know she was actually selfish and foul-mouthed. But she was trying to change herself, and she was desperately trying to come into terms with Mahiru's death. Yeah, if only she wasn't such an asshole to Mikan and exacerbated her self-confidence issues that we found out about during her social link. That would have been great. I guess to be fair, she was starting to somewhat change, but The person who killed those two is amongst us. I definitely can't believe it. But whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. Unless I figure out the truth, I won't be able to escape from this hell. That's why I must find out, no matter the cost, for our sake, for our friend's sake, for Ibuki and Hiyoko's sake, for Taco Bell, for Sparta. And so the curtain to the third-class trial was about to open. The life-threatening trial billowing with hope and despair has begun. Alright, there's the despair. Fantastic. Oh, I'm ready. My balls are ready. I got skills right, I think. Cheat code. Time limit doesn't decrease even if you shoot a statement with a silencer. Hell yeah. Just 2 skills. Alright. Should I take a look over the... Here. Let me take a look over the truth bullets. Monokuma file. There are 2 victims this time, Ibuki Miyoda and Hiyoko Saionji. Ibuki Miyoda's cause of death was crushed windpipe as a result of choking. There are no other external injuries. Hiyoko Saionji's cause of death was... Oh. What? Okay. Bloodlust due to her throat being slit by a sharp-edged tool. It appears her death was instant. Blood on the soles. There were bloodstains on the soles of Ibuki's feet. Rope used for hanging. The rope used for hanging, according to Mikan, there is no doubt that the cause of Ibuki's death was her hanging herself with this rope. The key to the motel room that Hiyoko was staying in, it was buried deep inside her kimono. Pretty difficult to retrieve. A thick scrap of paper that was stuck to the baton lighting. A black curtain at the very back of the music venue stage. It's not wide enough to reach the sides of the stage. It looks like it was brought from the supermarket and not originally something that was there. Stepladder was found on the music venue stage, tipped on the side, and on its left side a slight bloodstain can be seen. A candle was found at the front of the music venue stage. It looks like the dim light seen in the surveillance camera video was actually the light from this candle. Surveillance camera unit put inside the music venue for communication purposes. It smashed to pieces and no longer works. AC was cranked up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It was extremely hot inside the music venue because of that. To mask the time of the death. Evidence that a blood stain was wiped off the floor of the music venue stage. Since Ibuki has no open wounds, it's believed that the blood belonged to Hiyoko. Yep. A strange glob that was stuck to where both the music venue doors touched each other. So someone glued the doors closed and dropped that drumstick as well. Mikan's account. Right up until the Monokuma announcement that morning, Mikan was with Hajime the whole time. Afterwards, she went to the hospital to check on everyone and realized that Ibuki had disappeared. When she rushed out of the hospital to search for Ibuki, she apparently met up with Fuyuhiko. Surveillance monitor video. The video that Hajime saw at the hospital shows a person dressed in a hospital gown wearing a hemp bag on their heads as they willingly climb a stepladder towards a noose. Okay. Fuyuhiko's account. After Fuyuhiko met Mikan in front of the hospital, they split up to search for Ibuki. They checked the movie theater and Electric Ave, but they didn't find anyone. Apparently Fuyuhiko and Mikan were only separated for a short time. Okay, wait, okay, so 2 suspects then? Fuyuhiko or Mikan? But everybody else, we don't know where everybody else was either, right? Meaning Gundam and the rest of them? Alright, Sonya's account. Hiyoko was distraught because her kimono was disheveled and she wasn't able to tie it on her own. That's when Sonya apparently told her about the full-length mirror. Oh yeah, that was sad. Movie invitation ticket. Prepared by Monokuma. 1 ticket was passed out per person and its date is passed out... Or its date is printed on the ticket. For some reason, I remember Nagito telling me to keep that because it might be important. Is it because of the time of day or something? I'm not... 4 a.m. Is that what that says? I guess. Did Monokuma put like the time of the murder in there? Is that... Maybe he did that. Monokuma's account. A Monami tote bag that was sold at the movie theater. It's a limited item because only 1 person can buy it. Apparently you can get another bag for free when you purchase it. Wizard of Monami, the movie that Monokuma directed. There were a total of 3 deaths in the movie. Monokuma's scarecrow died by hanging himself. Monokuma's lion was pumped full of arrows, and Monami's Tin Man died by getting chopped into metal pieces. Okay. Fan-freaking-tastic. I think I'm ready.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Let's not.
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Your mama did it.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already!
If you don't care about it, then don't say it, dumbass.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
Are you giving me because I wouldn't share stuff with you?
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what Hajime was afraid of too. Bro's a certified stirrer, so he would stir the given the opportunity.
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
Yeah, but you're Akane.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Exactly.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that? Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Sure, whatever you say. Same reaction here, Hajime.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 in the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hiyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time.
And that's when he saw the weird video.
When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone. So I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko. So I fled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Alright, so far everything sounds good.
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the 4 of us broke down the door. And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hiyoko's, and not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you.
I understood it very easily.
Please do not stir the
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Here we fucking go. Huh?
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious.
I'm gonna murder the shit out of you, Nagito.
Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
You're making a fair point though, but you're still an annoying dick, friend.
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
That Hajime might be the killer.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Yeah. It's just as Katsuichi said, Nagito's the kind of guy who'll just confuse us and make matters worse. Damn it, I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Alright. I'm going
Hajime's
with...
testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault.
Bro, I haven't even seen the movie at that point. You fucking asshole, you know this. Hold on.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's
Alright,
testimony is a
that's
lie,
why he told me to keep the ticket in
then
mind.
the
He
fact
was
that Ibuki hung
he was
herself-
looking to stir the shit before the
That would
case even
also be a
started.
lie.
That's why. What a fucking
I don't think I can deny. After all,
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime kill both of them?
the fact that the bodies were imitating... No, that's wrong!
I'm not the killer. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
You are up. I hate you so much. I hate you with a passion.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that.
There goes 5 minutes of my time because you didn't want to shut the fuck up.
Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
hold on a sec. You're the one who brought this up in the first place.
Everybody line up and just curb stomp Nagito right now. I'm so tired of this shit.
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation.
Fine. Fine. Valid arguments, but you're still a dick.
It also provides a good warm-up.
Oh boy, here we go.
Warm up. This isn't a game, you know.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
No shit.
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide. Ain't possible, huh?
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
I think that's the wrong way to go about it.
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
I know how that's possible.
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right? If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
Is that what that means?
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two, Sonia and Kazuichi.
Damn.
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together.
Why could the killer not have just glued it from the outside and then dropped the drumstick in from the other side of the door through like an open crack and then let the door go? Why does it have to be the extreme of the killer being in the music venue?
Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
Yeah, but he's probably half dead, so...
Me too!
Oh boy, here we go.
Hey, why are you talking like, huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
Please stop making bad jokes.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
I agree with that to some extent, but...
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill?
No, he's just doing his duty to not try to not get killed, you know? The killer was inside the music venue. Hiyoko obviously thinks so, but is that really it? I don't think so. I think they just like held the door open a smidge and then dropped the drumstick in and then just glued the door from the outside and then just let the door go.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
I'm gonna
did
go
they
with the
lock the
glue,
door?
probably.
That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
Yes.
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they looked like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Thanks, Sonia. Thank you so much. That person's remark contradicts the truth. I should be able to prove that with evidence.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they looked like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
I'm feeling that something is wrong with one of the statements. God damn it. Trying to wrap a mind around what statement to hit with what. person's remark contradicts the
killer was
truth.
still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside,
I know it's the
they tried
glue.
to keep us from getting in.
By locking the door from
seems
the
they were trying to
inside, how
stall
would
for
that
time.
contradict semi-transparent
How did they
glob?
lock the door?
Why wouldn't they be able to glue it from
That
the
door should not have had a lock.
inside? Why would they not
The lock was
be
on
able to
the
do it from
floor
the
in front of the
outside?
door.
I guess that's the point. They could
you talking about
they
the
could
broken
glue the
drumstick?
door from the outside.
You can use that as
All
a
right,
hook
hold
by
on. Let me
doing
try that.
Wait until we get, and suddenly it.
So they
Huh.
look like
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
I don't feel like that's much of a
The killer was
contradiction, to
still
be
inside
honest,
the
but
music venue. By locking the door from the inside. No.
okay,
that's
that
locked.
was it. Interesting. Let's see where the game goes with this.
Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
Okay, so it was what I was saying. Okay, interesting.
From the outside? How?
Glue.
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe?
It wasn't rubber at all. The semi-transparent glob was probably glue.
I see.
Glue gun.
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh yeah, you tasted it, didn't you?
It had a firm, gel-like chewiness. And I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth. Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
Thanks, Chiaki.
I didn't know glue was edible.
It's not. She's probably one of those kids who ate Play-Doh.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
Does that mean that the drumstick was a way to throw us off the scent? They like snapped the drumsticks and then left it on the floor of the music venue to make it seem like they locked it from the inside? I thought it might have been both, but they might have just glued the door and then snapped the drumstick beforehand to make it seem like they were locked from the inside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know?
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so? It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Okay, that makes sense. For some reason, I thought that it might have just been both things.
Are you
To
saying
exacerbate the issue.
drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Don't worry, me too. Me too for you, Hiko.
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
So the killer wanted to make it look like the killer wanted to make it look like the door was locked from the inside, so that people who didn't have an alibi would be blamed. So Kazuichi and Sonia, which means the killer did have an alibi. So we're back to suspecting basically everybody at this point.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
Shut up, Monami.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
I disagree.
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Aww, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
What? That's kind of a sus statement. The fuck was that? That's... Bro, what? Huh? That's like if someone was killed by 50 stabs to the chest and me being like, oh, that's too many stabs for a person like me to do. What the fuck? Mikan, That's very sus. What?
If they couldn't have done it when
Huh?
Hajime was away from the venue,
Maybe it's one of those awkward things, but that was kind of sus.
they must have done it earlier than that.
Earlier?
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
Curtain. Curtain. He's a curtain, not a quilt. That's the explanation, bro.
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
You are in the right frame of mind, Nagito. You are in the right frame of mind.
Just revealed?
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
A scrap of curtain. The scrap that was stuck on the baton lighting in the music venue. Now I should be able to figure out what it is. Curtain? No. Stage. What? What would that be? Not P. Stage. Oh. Huh? Wallpaper. Wallpaper. I'm fucking up big time. Damn. Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. Jeez.
I got it! That scrap, isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room? In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap.
Doesn't that mean that the curtain originally was wallpaper then? That's weird.
There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there?
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper, see? It fits perfectly.
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearing?
Yes, it does. Someone wrapped her into a burrito before Hajime discovered the body of Ibuki, and then they unwrapped the burrito after.
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
Thanks, Nagito. I am exceptional. Alright, the scrap of paper stuck to the baton lighting was part of that wallpaper I found in the storage room. Is it connected to the sudden disappearance of Hiyoko's body? If I trace it back from there, the answer should become clear. Alright, let's give this a try. Oh god. Oh, what are the controls for this again? Speed up, brake, jump. Okay. Question 1. Why did Hiyoko's body suddenly appear in the crime scene? It was hidden. It was hidden! I used my big brain. I have big brain. I figured it out. You know what? I'm actually enjoying this minigame more than I thought I would, to be honest. Question 2. What did the killer use to hide the body? Wallpaper. I thought it was a curtain originally and that they taped on the wallpaper stickers to make it look like the wallpaper, but apparently it was wallpaper. The curtain before was wallpaper to begin with. How did the killer hide her body with the wallpaper? They covered the pillar. They wrapped her in a burrito. After she was already taped to the pillar. Oh, god damn it, I missed the boost.
It's all coming together.
I was wondering how they were gonna have us figure that out in-game as the characters. Through a logic dive, I guess that's fine.
Hiyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body,
I'm the
Hiyoko's
best.
body was already there.
I'm glad I caught that.
However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
Yeah, a normal person wouldn't be like, hey, there's this dead body. Oh, whoa, look at this building's architecture. They made one pillar thicker than the other? Wow, that's weird as hell. Yeah, nobody's probably gonna do that, so.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Oh, okay, so that's why that might have been there pre them taking down the pillar. I get it. I thought they just wrapped it around and lined it up by themselves, but no, they wrapped the wallpaper around the pillar and then had the pillar pull up the wallpaper to the ceiling. Okay.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers is to make it look like that pillar.
That's how they hid Hiyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. If their plan took too long, Hajime could have walked in on them.
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
So is coming back to the music menu after Hajime discovered the body and then uncovering the body in a 10-minute time span. So I don't think the killer was worried about bold and risky, so.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
Then, when was Hiyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Can we not?
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
That movie sucked total ass.
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie. Not just that. But Hiyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
Because of the murder quota or murder limitation. Monokuma said you can't murder more than 2 people at a time.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
The reason the killer imitated the 2 victims in that movie, I should be able to explain it. To mix up the killing order.
I see.
Yeah. They wanted us to think that Ibuki was killed before Hiyoko.
2 of the murders from the movie was so we'd mix up the killing order.
Then Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Yeah, and we know that because of the dried blood on the ground and the fact that Ibuki has blood on the bottom of her slippers. And the only way that'd be a thing is if Hyoko's throat was already slit.
A valid line of reasoning.
And that's why they try to wipe down the blood on the floor as well.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
What do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
What a jerk!
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying.
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed.
Not gonna lie, that was kind of a mid-explanation, Chiaki.
How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. I think it's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. Alright, I'm guessing the blood on the slippers is gonna be one of the arguments. Yep, blood on the soles.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Yes!
I agree with that.
Good job, Sonia.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
That is Hyoko's blood.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
Yep.
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil
Why?
eye.
Why are you being a... Why?
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Okay.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line.
What?
But are you
What?
sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed.
Are you
know.
sure you're sure you're sure?
You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in
Are you
status.
making an actual rebuttal?
However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
He probably wants more proof of the souls. It's probably gonna be like the bloodstain on the floor. Smudge on the floor. Smudge on the floor.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about what did you see, a nice nightmare? You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me to cut through those
Lies! I was expecting there to be a push to the second round and not for there to be a statement in the first round.
Blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hiyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
So those smudges were probably from Ibuki walking.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
Same reason why they wrapped Hiyoko's dead body in pillar wallpaper.
Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hiyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far.
Aside from Nikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Nikon's autopsy?
On the ball, Kazuichi. Good job, bro. Damn.
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then, but regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Your empire is a joke. Your empire's a sham.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time too?
Yeah, but if it's good information, we might as well let him do it.
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Oh, valid question. I actually was wondering this too. Suicide?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hiyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hiyoko and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
It's possible, but I think that's what the killer wants you to think. To be honest, that's probably why they did a double murder in the first place. And since they knew that Ibuki had the what was it, the gullible disease, and they could basically convince her to do everything and anything, they probably figured, if I kill Hiyoko, I can get away with Hiyoko's murder by having Ibuki right next to the body kill herself and make it look like what Nagito just said. It's that Ibuki committed the big S due to a guilty conscience. And then if everybody voted for Ibuki to be the Blackened, then the real Blackened would get away because everybody would think the way the Blackened wanted them to think, if that makes sense.
That's totally impossible. Then she never would have killed her to begin with.
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
She wasn't inflicted with the kill everybody despair disease. She was inflicted with the gullible disease, but which I guess the killer could have also convinced her to kill someone else on behalf of the killer. But would that even count as the Blackened at that point? Wouldn't Ibuki just be the Blackened instead of the guy who told her to kill the person in the first place? I feel like So many vague rules and shit. I don't know.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body soon after means
That also is true.
the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
How do you pretend to be? You're hanging by the neck. You're hanging by the neck. How do you pretend to be dead from that?
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging.
Yeah, that's like the hardest thing to fake, buddy.
Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means
The killer is probably someone else.
there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
I think Ibuki did. But it was at the direction of the killer. Because she had the gullible disease. Huh?
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right? Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
They didn't have to force her.
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
Hey guys, you remember that despair disease she had?
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something. So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
Can we figure out whatever that was before we try to jump to a who?
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
Huh. Oh god, it's gonna be one of the accounts.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside,
His own cottage. After Fuyuhiko met Mikan in front of the hospital, they split up to search for Ibuki. What time did he meet with Mikan? In front of the hospital? Was it before the... Well, it had to be before the morning announcement, right? Wouldn't that mean that Mikan had an opportunity to be there right before or after Hajime showed up at the music venue? Wait, but I saw both of them, right?
from those afflicted by the disease. If nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
Okay. The murders supposedly happened before and during the morning announcement. The person who doesn't have an alibi for that time.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Wait, what's Mikan's account? Right up until the Monokuma announcement that morning, Mikan was with Hajime the whole time. Afterwards, she went to the hospital to check on everyone and realized that Ibuki had disappeared. When she rushed out of the hospital to search for Ibuki, she apparently met up with Hiyoko. Huh.
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then...
No, that's wrong.
Okay. So...
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi.
Apparently, Mikan has a whole alibi, but her alibi seems like... I don't know. Something's fishy about it. Like, she said she was with Hajime up until the morning announcement, which is technically true. That's the same day where she woke up on Hajime, right? But then after that, we split. And then from that time we split until the time she supposedly met up with Fuyuhiko, there's a gap. That's not really an alibi, huh? Because, like, she's corroborating her own alibi. That's not really valid, shall we say.
In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Or, hold on. Maybe I'm overthinking it?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
Hey, very nice.
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagito's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
Oh yeah, never mind. We did go to the hospital together. She was checking up on the patient's rooms. Hajime saw the announcement, he ran out. And then from then until I guess she met Fuyuhiko, we didn't really know what was going on with her. Or with anybody else for that fact. So, okay, never mind. I'm misremembering stuff.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
Why would that matter? Couldn't the killer, like, let's say, even with someone who has an alibi like Mikan, couldn't Mikan just have, like, killed Hiyoko way before she decided to go wake up Hajime, tie her up to the pillar, disguise the pillar, and then convinced Hiyoko to kill herself at a specific time before the morning announcement and then went to wake up Hajime? Like, the killer could have just done that. And that might have been why they were trying to confuse everybody of the time of the murders. So this Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi is kind of stupid, to be quite honest.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was?
Huh?
Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying There was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
Like what? The killer had a different reason? If that's the case, are we still in the killer's trap? Inside a trap set by one of us? If so, then whose and what kind of trap is it? Oh.